So the first half of the season was Olivia trapped on the other side, while Bolivia had infiltrated our team. And then, you know, we reset the deck, but there's consequences on both sides. And the rest of the season is the fallout, and obviously there's this weapon, this device that the first people created, which is, you know, all about creation and destruction.
What we really start to get into is the machine and Peter's connection to the machine.
It's like something triggered it.
Something did trigger it. Me. It seems like what we're setting up now is that inevitable crunch between the two universes.
We've been talking about the destruction of the universes, but the machine has the power to create universes as well as destroy them.
My opinion, and I suspect maybe Walter's and alternates ultimately, will be that of course we can find a way to balance these two things, because the universe is all about balance, and this is what Alternate says. Nature doesn't recognize good and evil, Philip. Nature only recognizes balance and imbalance. It's not good and evil, it's between balance and imbalance. I think there'll be a wonderful way of resolving this issue.
I need your help.
The whole thing that he's testing Walter about that episode is, will you be able to let your son go when the time comes? And I think it's clear that the observers have been trying to make sure that Peter lives so that he can fulfill his destiny, which is to be in this machine, whatever it is that the machine does. There's also the possibility that the observers are just lying and trying to manipulate a certain future which they think would be most beneficial to them or whomever.
He was willing to let his son die. And now we know, when the time comes, he will be willing to do it again.
I think one of the interesting things for me looking at the next chunk of episodes is how Walter is trying to recover some of the power of his brain.
I'm not wholly in it. If I'm to figure out how Peter is connected to the machine, I have to get smarter.
You know, Walter, we've come to feel that he's a force for good, but he wasn't always. And Walternate was maybe not altogether a polar opposite.
Walternate's driven. The way he sees things, it's his world or ours.
And the thing about it that's so frightening is that Walternate is Walter with all his faculties.
If there is a Walter versus Walternate showdown, I would imagine that that would be a finale thing, because it's so huge.
You can't have these forces strong on both sides without some sort of interaction.
A lot of people really, really want to see it, but something would have to come from that, and so it makes sense that that would lead into our season 4.
If we look at geology, we know that there have been cycles of creation and destruction, even in one life, you know. A person is born, a person survives, a person matures, a person dies, and so the race goes on.
And the promise is that Peter's connected in a way that he doesn't quite understand to this weapon, and that the fate of both universes rests in the weapon and him. That's the jeopardy and the consequences for the remainder of the season.